What if I told you that the quietest people on social media aren't the odd ones out? 30 to 40% of social media users never post. That's not a small group. That's almost half of everyone. They scroll, they watch, they observe, but they don't perform. Psychologists call them lurkers, but that word makes it sound passive, like they're missing something. They're not missing anything. They're just not auditioning for a show nobody asked them to be in. We act like posting is the default, like silence is the exception. But the numbers tell a different story. You're not the quiet one at the party. You might be the party, and the party is 40% of everyone. So if not posting isn't rare, what does it actually say about the people who choose it? Chapter 1. The Confidence Paradox. Here's something that might surprise you about confidence. We assume confident people put themselves out there. They post, they share, they want to be seen. But there's something counterintuitive going on. High self-esteem correlates with less posting, not more. Think about that. The people who like themselves the most often feel the least need to prove it. Psychologists call this self-contained self-esteem. Your sense of worth comes from inside, not from likes, not from comments, not from external validation. We've convinced ourselves that visibility equals confidence. But the person with 0 selfies might have more confidence than the one with hundreds. They just don't need you to confirm it. The loudest person in the room rarely has the most to say. The same applies online. But if posting isn't about confidence, what is driving it? Chapter 2. The Dopamine Casino. Ever posted something and immediately started checking for likes? That urge isn't weakness, it's brain chemistry. When you post a photo and someone likes it, your brain releases dopamine, the same chemical that fires when you eat something delicious or win a game. But here's the twist. Checking your likes activates the same brain regions as gambling. Variable rewards, unpredictable payoffs. The uncertainty makes it addictive. Instagram is basically a slot machine that pays out invalidation instead of money. And somehow that's completely normalized. People who don't post often recognize this trap. Not always consciously. Sometimes it just feels off. That discomfort? That's awareness. We'll spend 20 minutes finding the perfect filter for pasta. The pasta took 10 minutes to make. This dopamine loop creates something else, a pressure to perform. Chapter 3. The Performance Problem. We're all trying to be authentic on platforms designed for performance. It's like trying to be casual at a job interview. Psychologists call this the authenticity paradox. Curated platforms can't show your real self because curating makes it unreal. Think about what goes into a single photo. The angle, the lighting. 47 attempts to get one that looks candid. By the time you post it, it's not a moment anymore. It's a product. Non-posters sense this tension intuitively. They feel the gap between who they are and who they'd have to pretend to be online, and they choose not to bridge it. Everyone's performing for everyone else. It's an audience performing for an audience. We document vacations so thoroughly, we need a vacation from the documentation. Your discomfort with this performance isn't antisocial. It might be the most honest response available. What if not performing isn't a failure at all? Chapter 4. The Boundary Effect. What if every photo you didn't post was actually a success? We treat non-posting like inaction, but psychologically, it's the opposite. Setting a boundary is an action. Choosing what not to share is a choice. People who don't post often have strong digital boundaries. They treat photos as personal possessions, not public content. Not everything they experience is meant for an audience. Think about those drafts you've written and deleted. The caption you crafted, reconsidered, erased. That's not indecision. That's discernment. We apologize for being quiet online. Sorry I've been so quiet. As if silence requires an excuse. You're not a podcast. You don't owe anyone episodes. Every unposted photo is a boundary you set. Every deleted draft is self-awareness in action. That's not failure. That's dignity. This choice becomes especially important when you understand how energy works. Chapter 5. The Energy Equation. If social media drains you, there's a reason, and it's not weakness. Introverts and highly sensitive people process social information differently. Every interaction takes energy. Every post requires emotional labor. The engagement that follows costs more energy still. Extroverts gain energy from social exchanges. Introverts spend it. Photo posting and the feedback loop can drain reserves that take real time to replenish. Think of it like a bank account. Posting is a withdrawal. Engaging with responses is another withdrawal. Not posting, that's compound interest. Highly sensitive people often experience social media as overstimulating. The emotional intensity of sharing photos, waiting for reactions, processing feedback, it's a lot. Introverts everywhere understands this. Social media asks them to perform for free indefinitely. Some simply said no. Protecting your energy isn't avoidance, it's intelligence. And when your energy is limited, the comparison game becomes even more costly. Want to level up your people skills? Join our community on YouTube or on my Patreon for exclusive scripts, early access, and connection with people who get the social struggle. Links below. Let's master human interaction together. Chapter 6. The Comparison Trap. That sinking feeling when you scroll, it's not just you, and it's not random. Social comparison is hardwired into us. We naturally measure ourselves against others. But social media broke the scale. You're comparing your behind the scenes to everyone else's highlight reel. Their best moments against your ordinary ones. Their staged photos against your unfiltered reality. The comparison game is rigged. And somehow we keep playing. Ever feel bad about your life because of someone's beach photo? That beach was probably crowded. There was definitely sand in uncomfortable places. But the photo didn't show that. People who avoid posting often experience inverted FOMO. Instead of fear of missing out, they feel relief from staying out. That's not losing. That's refusing to play a rigged game. Social comparison fatigue is real. Stepping back isn't defeat, it's self-preservation. Opting out leads somewhere bigger, a kind of quiet rebellion. Chapter 7. The Privacy Rebellion. In an era of normalized oversharing, choosing privacy has become an act of rebellion. Think about how strange our current moment is. Privacy used to be the default. Now it's a lifestyle choice. We went from stay out of my business to, why aren't you sharing your business? Non-posters aren't hiding. They're reclaiming something that was always theirs. Their image, their story, their choice about who gets access. Privacy is the new punk rock. It's countercultural in a culture of confession. When someone asks why you don't post more, notice the assumption. As if not sharing requires justification. As if your life isn't valid unless documented. You have a right to your own image. Non-posters simply exercise that right more deliberately. Your privacy isn't shame. It's sovereignty. It's choosing who deserves access to your life and deciding that not everyone does. And this rebellion, it actually works in your favor psychologically. Chapter 8. The Mystery Advantage. There's a psychological principle that explains why mysterious people captivate us. It's called the Zeigarnik effect. Our brains are more engaged by incomplete information than complete information. Unfinished stories stick with us. Unanswered questions linger. Mystery isn't weakness. It's psychological leverage. Think about the most interesting people you know. Often, they're not the ones telling you everything. They reveal just enough to make you curious for more. That person who shares nothing online and you can't stop wondering about them, that's the Zeigarnik effect in action. Incompleteness creates intrigue. Oversharing closes loops. When you know everything about someone, there's nothing left to discover. The mystery is gone, and with it, often, the fascination. The most powerful people at parties are often the ones who leave early. They could be going anywhere, probably home to read, but still, anywhere. Your mystery is your power, and you don't have to give it away. Mystery is powerful, but so is what happens when you watch instead of perform. Chapter 9. The Observer's Edge. If you're someone who watches more than posts, you might have an advantage. Observers process information differently. While performers focus on creating content, observers focus on understanding it. They see patterns others miss. Psychologists call this deep processing. Instead of reacting quickly, observers absorb, reflect, and connect ideas. It's a different kind of engagement, internal rather than external. Everyone's so busy broadcasting that few people are actually listening. Observers are listening, and listening is where understanding comes from. The lurker label makes it sound passive, but there's nothing passive about deliberate observation. It takes focus, patience, the willingness to understand before responding. You notice what performers are too busy to see: the patterns, the trends, how certain content manipulates. Watchers aren't missing the conversation, they're understanding it more deeply than the people having it. And observers see something else: how the system actually works against you. Chapter 10. The Algorithm Escape. The algorithm doesn't care about your well-being. It cares about your attention. Every notification is designed to pull you back. Every like is calibrated to trigger another post. The platforms profit when you engage, regardless of whether it makes your life better. This isn't conspiracy. It's the business model. Attention is the product. You're being sold. People who understand this often become privacy conscious, not paranoid, just aware. They recognize themselves as data points in a system designed to extract value from their behavior. The algorithm prioritizes engagement over everything. Outrage engages, comparison engages, insecurity engages. Peace of mind? That doesn't drive clicks. Checking your likes is like opening the fridge every 10 minutes hoping new food appeared. It didn't, and now you feel worse. Seeing through this manipulation is the first step to freedom. Not posting isn't a retreat. It's leaving the casino while you still can. Seeing the algorithm clearly gives you something invaluable: the freedom to choose. Everything we've talked about comes down to one simple truth. True freedom isn't having unlimited options. It's knowing what to say no to, including the pause button. We started with a question: what does it mean when someone doesn't post photos online? Now you know it can mean many things. Self-esteem that doesn't need external validation. Boundaries that protect what matters. Energy invested wisely. Privacy reclaimed. Mystery preserved. Observation over performance. The most powerful people online are often those who choose not to perform. Your worth was never meant to be measured in double taps. Your life isn't less real because it's undocumented. The moments you experience without sharing them, those might be the ones you actually remember. You're part of a quiet majority, people who watch, think, and choose deliberately. There's nothing wrong with you. There might be a lot right with you. You get to decide what deserves your attention, what deserves your energy, what deserves to be shared, and what doesn't. That's not hiding. That's power. Learn something new? Hit that like button, share it with others, tap subscribe, and stick around for more. Got thoughts? I'd love to hear them in the comments.